Hello, you middle-aged motorcycle maintenance mechanics. Yeah, they're still around, you know. There's still plenty of middle-aged motorcycle maintenance mechanics doing their stuff, because with old motorbikes, you need to do your own maintenance, because going to a mechanic commercially is hugely expensive, and the only people that have got the money to afford motorbikes these days are middle-aged people that have some sort of pension and savings. It's the way it goes. So a big thank you to ha for the malt mention. This is Ralphie Review 1015 Extras. Malt mates, make yourself comfortable. Pour yourself a dram. This is a malt moment. Let's make it malty. I've just reviewed Ardnamurchan in Ralphie Review 1015 because it won the accolade, the title of Best Young Distillery 2023 in the online Scotch Whisky Awards. So now you know. And I chose to review one of the earliest releases, and I gave it 84 out of 100, and you can still buy it for £50 a bottle, and I'd say at that price you're actually getting quite a lot of whisky, because at the relatively young age of averaging 6 years, it has a maturity beyond its age statement, which isn't delivered directly, but it is calculable from the information given on the label of the bottle, which is 01.21.01. So it's batch 1, bottled in January 2021 of a mainstream post-inaugural bottling. So there you have it, there's your reference. So I'll put this mark away now, and I'm just going to talk a wee bit more about Ardnamurchan Distillery, because I'm hoping, right? Hope springs eternal to the whisky drinker. You know that. And I'm hoping that more distilleries who are in a rush to put out mediocre, overpriced, overpresented, overhyped, young bottles of spirit are going to look at successful competitors and see that they are doing things wrong. That I can think of several distilleries now which I've been keeping my fingers crossed for them, but I see them making naive errors which are dramatically diminishing their sales. And it's not for me to try and shame these businesses, because making whisky in Britain in 2020s is frankly a very, very demanding business model, with the amount of state interference, bureaucracy, civil servants and pressure groups and charitable trusts and all the rest of it, who all want to get their oar in to justify their own existence and purpose. And then there's the authorities. I won't say the government, because the government's just theatre, it's front of house theatre. But the authorities, who are greedy, and they take enormous levels of tax in Britain, in the UK, from the sales of bottles of whisky, so much so that it's increasingly a struggle to even break even on costs on a standard bottle of blend. The costs of energy have absolutely rocketed because of, frankly, permitted customer exploitation, which don't just affect private individuals trying to heat their own home, but it affects businesses dramatically, along with the fact that material costs are skyrocketing. The cost of grain, the cost of a bag of yeast is skyrocketing. The cost of buying equipment, maintaining equipment, insuring equipment, training staff, employing staff, the health and safety issues, the national insurance issues, all these things, they all stack up. And as they do, the margins that a distillery can make, particularly when they get started, are wafer thin. They're absolutely wafer thin. It's not until they're really established, and if they can get away with selling an old age statement whisky, which may or may not be particularly good, but if they can sell it for a vast sum of money, for thousands of pounds, for a 20 or 30-year-old whisky, well, I say good luck to them, because at least with that sale, they're getting a good, generous return of profits on their investment, which has been sitting in their warehouse doing absolutely nothing but maturing and reducing in volume for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or even 50 years and beyond. A distillery looks glamorous. It looks like a glamorous job, but there's a lot of heavy lifting involved. There's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of taking chances that your plans are going to come through, and you don't know if they're going to work. You don't know if you've even bought the right casks until 5, 6, 8, 10 years down the line, when you're checking in your warehouse and you're discovering whether you've got really good whisky or not. And particularly with the quality of particularly American oak, which is dominated by the needs of corporate multinationals, who are constantly, excuse the pun, shaving their costs in cask production. And literally, cask wood in American oak barrels is a lot thinner than it used to be in the old days. And it's because it's all kiln dried now. It's not air dried. It's not the same quality. Thank goodness that there's a few cooperages now popping up in the United States who do make genuine, authentic, old school, properly hand-coopered casks, which are a work of absolute 5-star craftsmanship. We need more businesses like that for the global whisky community. But that's a topic for another day. I'm going to move right back to Ardnamurchan now. One of the important things with this distillery is that they have risen above their competitors in reputation very, very quickly for just a few simple reasons. One, the quality of the experience of their whisky in first taste. They're not chill filtering, they're bottling at higher strength, but so important, they're actually heavily invested in good wood. They're not just buying up what happens to be on the market and going at a reasonable price at any given time. That is such an important decision to make, to spend the extra money for better quality wood. Basically, you're securing your investment in the warehouse. The better the wood, the better the product, every single time. Secondly, there's no flannelly BS marketing. There's none of this tub thumping. We're unique, we're authentic, we're full of passion. I've wanted to do this all my life, and sniffle, sniffle, boo-hoo, and now my dreams have been realised, and here I am, and I will never be separated from the business I love and hold so close to me. I tell you, there's going to be some broken dreams out there before too long, and it will be a tragedy, and I feel so sorry for the victims of it. But you cannot run a business on a wing and a prayer. You need knowledge. Knowledge is essential. One of the things of knowledge is no distillery should ever be producing whiskey for today's market, because it's not even whiskey until after 3 years. A distillery has to look ahead to the anticipated market in 10 years' time, when they bottle their 10-year-old single malt, and say, what will customers be wanting in 10 years' time? What will they be prepared to pay for? How much will they be prepared to pay? And what will the bottles look like? What will our labels look like? What will our brand image be that we can sustain in a clear, time-proofed identity, so we don't have to completely rebrand from scratch and diminish our status? And distilleries have been doing this, and it really surprises me at the naivety of these decisions. See, Ardnamurchan have got a clear, and you've got to start with the font. The font, the writing, the consistency of the label, the style of the bottle, maintaining what is essentially passive brand recognition, so that people can look across an high street whisky shop at all the shelves full of hundreds of different bottles, and literally before they can even read a word on the label, they know exactly what distillery that whisky's come from. This is the real knowledge that distillers need to have. Honestly, I wonder if I should actually prepare a masterclass for new distilleries. This is how to create product for the whisky enthusiasts, for the real customers, for the people who buy your product, genuinely appreciate your product, and then buy it again. They're not the passive. No distillery should be ever creating a product for a passive, transient consumer who's only looking for a bit of over colourful, jazzy bling on the label and a cheap price, where it says in the supermarket, yeah, we've discounted this from £80 to £40, it's half price, and yet all they have to do is lift out their mobile phone and see that the same supermarket has completely hyped the price to make their flimsy little discount look good. People latch on very quickly. Distilleries need to understand that when the passive consumer... hello, excuse me. Hello. I'm recording a video at the moment. Fluffy. Want some treats? As long as you stay off camera. Here's some treats there. And get your arse off my cask. You won't hear any other reviewers saying that. I tell you, you little cheeky bism. That's what you are. Look at all these wet paw prints over the barrel. This barrel's built for containing whiskey, not as a blank canvas for wet pussycat paws. Anyway. Another thing about a proactive distillery is when they're making good whisky, and an established onliner that has some experience and may be controversial, may say things that the industry collectively doesn't want to hear, but an individual distillery can greatly benefit from their endorsement. And here's a classic example. It's not the first time I've done this. This is a Ralphie.com bottling of Ardnamurchan. And before I go any further, it's completely sold out. 7-year-old, heavily peated, cask strength Ardnamurchan. An absolute banger of a malt. And it was bottled to celebrate my 1,000 reviews in November 2023, coinciding with Glasgow's Whisky Festival at Hampden Football Stadium. Maltmates, I was there. In fact, I was a special guest. Yes. Do you know what? I didn't get punched in the face. Ray! I am but jesting. But I phoned the distillery because they'd won in the Online Scotch Whisky Awards, and because they came on to the award presentation with Roy and myself and participated in, getting the award in a little brief conversation. So I phoned them. I said, well, I'll tell you what, Ralphie here, do you want to do a bottling where I don't make a penny out of it, but I get the association, I get a bit of bling, because my face, my little emoji, is on a bottle of Ardnamurchan. And they said, fine, Ralphie, we like the idea. Do you want to come up to the distillery and pick a cask out and we'll bottle it? And we'll put some of the profits towards a charity of our choice. Great. And I can buy maybe 3 or 4 bottles because I need one for archive as proof in case a fake goes into auction. I need one to be able to open. I need one to maybe give for a charitable fundraising, and I need one maybe if I'm going to actually do a tasting, a Ralphie, dedicated Ralphie bottling tasting in the future. I really appreciate that uniqueness, which many distilleries wouldn't entertain, but the proactive younger distilleries, the smaller distilleries, they really get it. They know the value of it. They said, well, what do you want to pick a cask? I said, no, you pick one. You know your stock. So they picked an absolute banger. It sold out literally within a couple of weeks. I never mentioned it in my general videos because it was only mentioned to my Patreon subscribers because there's sufficient there. There's no point when you've got a single cask of only about 233 bottles. There's no point in telling everybody when for most folk it's not even available. It's all sold out. That's demoralising. So it was for Patreon subscribers. It's a little bit extra content, and I told them about it, and quite a few have ordered it and been very, very happy with the results. I also had a bottling from Signatory, which I'll introduce soon, because Signatory won a Best Independent Bottler. And an absolute banger of whiskey. Went down a storm at Glasgow's Whisky Festival and just sold out very, very quickly. And under £100. Expensive, but not too expensive. An absolute zero marketing. Zero marketing. So I really, this is something that a proactive distillery that's really investing in its own reputation, what they're going to do is they are going to see opportunities which others might not consider, go with it. And I'm pleased to report that from this particular bottling, the profits went to the Ben Fund, which is an industry charity supporting people working and connected with the whisky industry who unfortunately develop alcohol addiction problems. And by the way, it's not unusual. It really isn't. It happens. Do you know, it happens to the very best of people. And I've seen it happen to others, and I know that it could happen to me, but fortunately I don't work in the industry. It's not actually my full-time job where I'm travelling around and I'm under any sort of targets pressure. It's all right for me. I'm sitting in the bothy having a wee taste, and I can totally relax and chill out and just present my results to you in these videos. And that takes the pressure off alcohol consumption considerably. And I'm also very mindful, I want to be showing a responsible side of the consuming of hard spirits. So everything kind of comes together. I will be visiting the distillery later this year. It's important to me. I want to find out, to be honest, what's the secret sauce? Why have they got such a good signature from out of their stills? So I'll be taking my special tools with me. This is all crazy stuff, by the way. I'll be taking my divining rods with me to Ardnamurchan, and I'll be trying to divine out what is the essence, I believe it's something to do with the landscape. I believe there are energy lines, what's called ley lines in the landscape, that are very proactive in very dramatic and dynamic in providing signature to the distillery's malt. And I think there's people in the industry are fully aware of it but never talk about it. But I'm going to explore this further. And there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a little bit of a kind of freehand narrative, but you may be able to find this bottling at auction. There won't be many because it was bought for drinking. But for those who are into peated whiskey, it is a phenomenal signature of the promise of Ardnamurchan, which in my opinion will be totally up there with the reputation that Ardbeg used to have for its single malt. And there you have it. I do not anticipate Ardnamurchan engaging in non-fungible tokens and cryptocurrency associations. I think they're far more grounded than that. In fact, I know they are. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll subscribe, click like, leave a comment. And if you're interested, as I mentioned, I do have a Patreon channel where I provide extra content and live streams once a month, Bothy Live. From where else but the Bothy? And where is it? Somewhere mystical and remote in the middle of the Irish Sea. Thanks, malt mates. See you soon. Clivey clicker time. Gotta go.